Our next speaker is Ken Krogue. Ken brings more than 24 years of experience in sales, business development, and marketing in both domestic and international markets. He's also a key thought leader for the inside sales industry and a contributing author to Forbes.com. Prior to founding InsideSales.com, Ken was the original founders of UCN, now known as In Contact, where he held a number of key positions, including Chief Operating Officer. Prior to In Contact, he built and directed the Inside Sales Division at Franklin Covey. Ken has received numerous industry awards, including being recognized among the top 25 most influential inside sales professionals in 2010, 12, 13, and most recently for 2014 as well. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ken Krogue.
Hello, everybody. This is Ken Krogue, one of the two founders of InsideSales.com. We're really excited for this great event. We've broken the records again. I'll give you some of the numbers towards the end. A lot of fun. But I wanted to get to my topic today, which Simon Sinek says start with why, but he's wrong. Actually, Simon Sinek's one of my favorites. Mick Hollison, when he came here to InsideSales.com, our CMO, he was preaching all about the why when he got here. But I had some strong realizations I want to share in this presentation. As usual, we'll stir the pot a little bit today. What happened with this record-breaking virtual summit? And I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. We've had 47 employees work on this project, 83 presenters, which is one more than last time. And I'm going to save the big numbers for the end, but we have blown the record out of the water with attendees. We're really excited about that. And then I want to share some of the details about our partners, our speakers who've all pooled together to help take this one to the record books. We want to mention some of those folks. But what I want to do is jump right into my topic today. Simon Sinek says, what does he say? He says start with why. And I love that talk. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the most famous TED Talks out there. But I want to challenge it a little bit because right in his talk, he mentions most leaders and companies start from the outside in. Innovative companies do something a little bit different. But the most companies, they start by talking with what and then how. Inspired leaders think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Start with the concept of why. Now, probably the best example and the one that Simon uses in his presentation, you've got to see it if you haven't had the chance, is Steve Jobs. Now, one of the greatest presenters in the history of the world, his company's top of the charts, and his presentation style was very powerful. And the thing that we noticed is, the question is always asked, why are they so innovative year after year after year? And Simon Sinek in his presentation argues, if Apple was like everybody else, their presentation would be roughly like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Do you want to buy one? That concept is what, how, and why. And that's backwards. But what Apple does instead is they say, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. That's their why. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Do you want to buy one? That strategy has made them the most valued company in the world, $700 billion as of just a couple of weeks ago. The same strategy that brought them back and made them number one, that helped them sell MP3 players, that changed the world, touchpads, beautiful accessories, and now even a watch. The world is looking on at a watch, you guys. Something the smartphones had almost made obsolete when all it did was tell time. This watch does almost everything. This same strategy that Simon Sinek summarizes, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now that's the key. They buy why you do it. And if they agree with the why, then they fall in line and they want to be part of a thing that's bigger than them. They want to be part of that movement. And that was epitomized by Steve Jobs. I loved one of the final talks that he gave. I think it was the Stanford graduation talk. He talked about staying hungry, staying foolish. One of the greatest presenters that I've ever seen, a man named Les Brown. In fact, he's in the Forbes article I wrote called Great Presentations. Every time that I sit down to try and do a presentation myself, or when I co-present with other presenters, I ask them to go back through this talk. I did it again today as I got ready for this, to just try and remember those tips of great presentations. Well, Les Brown is top of the charts. I've shared this little video vignette. It's a subset of one of the greatest ones he ever did. With most of our teams internally, our big sales kickoff, we shared it. Our client success kickoff, we shared it. Our business development kickoff, we shared it. And I realized I want to share it with you. So the bit.ly link, if you want to see it later, is Gotta Be Hungry, Les Brown.
Telling someone, and they asked me, would you repeat that again? I was interested in going into broadcasting. I'm adopted. And that was my key out. I wanted to make my mama proud of me. I was very much appreciative of what she's done for my brother and sister and I. And that was my way out. And I went over to a radio station, asked a guy and told him that I was interested in broadcasting. He looked at me in my straw hat and my overalls. He said, "You have any broadcasting background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." "What do you do?" "I cut grass." Young ladies asked me what kind of work I do, and I was working on a garbage truck. I say, "Well, I'm a sanitary technician." He said, "We don't have any job for you." I decided that was something I was going to do. I decided I'm unstoppable. I'm going to go up in here and I'm going to do this. I started going to the radio station every day, developing a relationship with the people that were doing what I wanted to do. And that's what I encourage you to do. Whatever area you want to go in, find people that are doing it the way you want to do it and develop a relationship with them. When I decided to go in this area, I wrote letters to Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, to Zig Ziglar, to Dennis Waitley, all of the giants in this area. And I said, this is something I want to do. I've been following your career. Would you help me? Dr. Norman Vincent Peale answered my letter, did an article on me, wrote about me in the most recent book that he issued, and done many broadcasts about me. I'd wanted to develop a relationship and rapport with those people that were achieving those things that I wanted to achieve. By the same token, I would go to the radio station, and I developed a relationship with the guys. And they used me as an errand boy when they needed some food or someone to go pick up entertainers that came into town. Temptation singing My Girl, Jerry Butler singing For Your Precious Love, Sam Cooke singing Darling You Send Me. I would pick up the entertainers at the airport and driving around in the disc jockeys, big Cadillacs. They didn't have any driver's license, but I was acting like I had some. Every day I used to go home and work on my communication skills, developing myself. It was Whitney Young. He said, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Start working and developing yourself now and prepare yourself for what it is that you want, because you expect to get it. And when the disc jockeys were in the control room, I would go in and watch them and develop a trust level, and they would let me stay, and I would watch and observe them working the controls. When you want something out of life, don't worry about how you're going to get it. How is none of your business. The most difficult thing it is to hold the vision. It's to hold the vision. So there I was at the radio station. A guy was on the air and he started to drink by the name of Rock. I was outside the window looking at him and watching. Hungry and ready. Saying, drink, Rock, drink. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. He's slurring his words. I said, I know. Can you work the controls until one of the other disc jockeys come in? Would you call them? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must be thinking I'm crazy. I called my mama and my girlfriend Cassandra, said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited about 15 minutes. I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, well, why don't you go in there and work the controls until they get there? And don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to sit down at that turntable, Mustafa. I said, look out, this is me, LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing Papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, and indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry.
Isn't that incredible? Les Brown, you gotta be hungry. How is none of your business? I love that. I love that. So let's jump in now to what I'm trying to say is it's not, you don't start with why. Great salespeople start with who. You gotta be selling to the right person. Once you've got the who and you know the right person with authority, the decision maker, they've got to have power. Then care about the why. They get the why. If they're the right person, why is what matters. And if you build the why, and if the why is strong enough, the what and the how are easy. Simon says the why is not about making a profit. That's just keeping score. It's your purpose. It's your cause. It's your belief. Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? Why should anyone care? In our world, our why is science is the key to changing human behavior. That's our why. He says inspired leaders think, act, and communicate from the inside out. They start with why. This is sound advice for sales and marketing strategies anywhere. Once you are sure here you're talking to the person with authority, go to the why. My friend, Lucianne Fagan, author of several books, she's known for talking about what she calls the no-po, the no power, the no purchase order. She nails it pretty good. No potential. And she says it's the single biggest mistake and time waster that people make. Is they go to a person, they think they're in charge, and they end up not being, so they waste all of their time on what she calls the no-po. And I think she's spot on. Now, many of you have heard of BANT. It's been around 30 years. It was a bit controversial a few years ago. The bloggers all over started saying that BANT is dead. And you know what? I frankly agree with them. The order is the problem. Because in 2010, and BANT is an acronym for a qualified lead. So B is budget, A is authority, N is need, and T is timing. And what this advocated is that in your selling, your pre-qualification, your qualification calls, you start by asking about budget, which, according to Demand Gen report that was done in 2010, it was actually research for Genius, a company that was credited with starting the Sales 2.0 craze. And our friend Anna Cassili and Gerhardt, they've taken it forward the torch, but these are the ones who originally started it. They revealed in that research that 20% of purchases are made from companies who budget at the first of the year to define their purchases. In other words, only 20% of companies are even using a budget, you guys, to make purchase decisions. 80% of survey respondents say they evaluate solutions, build a use case, then get the budget. So if only 20% of companies have a budget to define for purposes, it makes no sense to start your sales process asking for budget. My friend Trish Bertuzzi, she says it's like asking for a W-2 on the first date. Budget is still critical, don't get me wrong. The only debate is where it fits in the process and how you get to it. So in 2012, I proposed a new model called ANUM, which stands for authority, need, urgency, and money. Look what I've done. I've changed the order significantly. We put authority first, followed by need, then urgency and money. So you start with the who. Then you help them see why they need you. And that is the key. If you've got the right person, the who, and you build the need strong enough, guess what? Urgency and money appear. And that's what we find time after time. One of the most controversial sales books in our age was The Challenger Sale by my friend Matt Dixon. He and I have spoken. Actually, his business partner who was the co-author of the book, The Challenger Sale, Brent Adamson, is involved in this conference today. Make sure you check out his seminar. They're announcing some pretty big things. In fact, they're announcing their new book that's coming out this fall at this conference. Pretty exciting. The Challenger Customer. So look for that. There's been a couple of big announcements at this conference today. And the corporate executive board, they clearly define the type of salesperson and sales methodology, and they've stirred the pot now since they rolled out this book about 4 years ago. In fact, they've got most of the sales trainers in the industry backpedaling because they flipped it on its ear and they said, you know what? It's not about asking questions and questioning for need and relationships like it used to be. It's this new breed of salespeople in the complex sale called the Challenger. And what they've learned how to do is teach. They teach a decision maker with authority that they need you. They teach the concepts and principles, the research, the best practices. Then they tailor their solution to their recently perceived need. Then they take control of the discussion to overcome the obstacles. So teach, tailor, take control. It's a different mindset, and it focuses primarily on education around need to the person in authority. And what they found, again, if they're talking to the right who, and they give them the appropriate why, the rest seems to take care of itself. Now, so what about urgency? That's next in Anna. Remember, it's authority, need, urgency, and money. And granted, if need is strong enough, urgency appears. But is there a way to increase urgency even beyond need? One of the worldwide sales for Salesforce.com recently came to work with us. One of the very first things he did was to bring in his friend Eli Cohen of the company now called Saleshood. Eli's now one of my friends. I'm very impressed with what he's accomplished. He's written this awesome book. If you haven't read it, you need to. He was the former head of sales productivity, sales enablement, basically at Salesforce.com, and he has answered that question that I've been wondering for years about urgency. How do you speed up urgency? And there's a pretty interesting formula. He calls it compelling events. And it took me a while to really get that in my head. Compelling events can be derived from several directions. They can be formed from internal pressure, external pressure, personal impact, someone needing a promotion or raise, consequences of doing nothing. I've found that everything I do around content creation is based on a compelling event. Guys, it's a deadline. A deadline. If you want to get something done, set a dang deadline and it'll happen. Compelling events drive urgency. So his book is called Saleshood, How Winning Sales Managers Inspire Sales Teams to Succeed. All kinds of great stuff. But for me, the biggest takeaway was how to drive urgency, how to shorten your sales cycle by getting people to decide based on, again, what he calls compelling events. I won't tell you how he does it. I won't spoil the adventure. Go read the book. There's too many people going out there to Amazon these days and buying these little 2-minute condensed versions of people's books. Go read the book. Get the magic behind it. If you've got no time, I guess the 2-minute version's okay. So let's summarize here, everybody. Great salespeople start with who. And if the why is strong enough, the what, the how, the when, and even the how much are easy. That's how it works. Remember Annum, authority, need, urgency, and money. The word Annum means annual. It's how you hit your annual quotas. Wanted to thank everybody. This has been pretty exciting. This is the third Sales Acceleration Summit, the largest of its kind in the world. We are well north of 30,000 registrants for this event. I want to call out a few of our partners. In fact,
We've had 83 people join in this crazy event, and a few of the very best. We asked them this time to all join in and help us really bust it out past that record mark, and they've done it. I want to mention the top ones.
I just want to thank everyone who was involved. Again, we had 47 of our internal employees on this project, 83 speakers. We beat the record by one. We've topped well north of 30,000. And some fun news again. Brent Adamson, representing Corporate Executive Board, they announced their new book, the Challenger Customer. Jeffrey Gitomer, his new book, The Now Sale, really exciting. We're excited because both Salesforce and Microsoft are involved in the same event. When has that happened before? As you know, they both invested in our company. We're really excited about that. We regard them both as great partners. One of my dear friends, Amanda Holmes, the daughter of Chet Holmes, has been involved in this great conference. You got to go check out her seminar if you haven't seen it. They've got 200,000 people in that methodology that comes from one of my favorite books, The Ultimate Sales Machine, again by Chet Holmes. Passed away in 2011. A bright light went out the day that happened. I was a student of his. He didn't even know it for years and years. And then Tom Hopkins, one of my favorites, one of the best in the history of selling, has been involved today. Lots of great people. Jill Conrath, again, came in number one on the most people brought to this conference today. Grant Cardone, amazing. Michael Padone, Mark Hunter, Craig Kleeman. Those are the top five. Those guys really pulled their weight, promoted this thing like crazy. Lots of honorable mention to Anthony Iannarino, Art Sobchak, Dominic Archibald, Jamie Shanks, Craig Elias. You guys killed it. Those top 10 who just took it to town. Thanks, everybody. It shows what we can do when we all pull together. And hopefully this will be a benefit for months and years to come to everybody in the sales industry. I get asked all the time, we've already been asked today, how do we download slides? So I've pioneered something a little bit different. I've actually got my slides already uploaded, ready to go. You can see the link down there at the bottom. It's a bit.ly link, Ken Summit. Got my slides from this presentation. I've got my contact information. Please reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. And my blog is kenkrogue.com. There's my email address. And I'm spending most of my time now, what time I have, writing for Forbes. So if you've got some fun content or questions that would be good ideas for me to write about, I'd love to hear from you. But that's a wrap, everybody. This is the last seminar of the day. Again, everything will be on demand, available for you whenever you want to tune back in. We will be putting this content out in the form of blogs and videos and even some ebooks coming from it. So you'll see this thing will really be available. Every speaker here had something great and important that can affect your sales career and your sales team. Don't miss out. Take the time to go through it. Have your reps go through it. And once again, thank you.